Hello, hello. Welcome to Alicyn's Wonderland. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. And you know what that means. We have another incredible guest that works in animation and video games. Today's guest is Richard Epcar. And I love Richard. I've known Richard for over a decade. I first met Richard when we were working together on the Mr. Men show. I'm going to show you guys something actually before we bring Richard on. This is, how do I flip my camera? Here we go. This is the poster from the Mr. Men show with all the different characters. And this was Richard. Richard played Mr. Noisy. I was Miss Sunshine, Miss Whoops, and Miss Naughty. And so even when I started working with Richard back then, I knew he was a total legend, and I'm so excited to have him on the show. I want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's joining live. Hey, Jeffrey, El Jordanito, sorry about your name. Yes, I was on the Mr. Men show. Did you watch? Photos by the dude. Hey, Chris Brown, so good to see you. Tao, Jeff, awesome to have you on. Rep Striker, you made it. Max, hey, good to see your face. Thank you guys so much for joining live. It is so special when we get to have guests on and interacting and being here witnessing in real time. So I'm so grateful for that. Richard Epcar is here. So we're going to welcome him on. Richard is a voice actor. You might know him from Final Fantasy, Saints Row, Arkham, Skyrim, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, League of Legends. This guy's resume is insane. You also might know him as the Joker in multiple Batman franchises. He's also, in addition to being a voice actor, he is also a voice director for anime and video games. And I've had the opportunity to work with Richard on the other side of the booth, of the glass wall, as it were. So I'm so excited to sit down. So please give a warm welcome to the one and only Richard Epcar. Let me just invite him to join. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, request right now. Hey, Brickman Mosaic Art, good to see you. You guys, Brickman has some really incredible Lego artwork, if you guys are into that. Melanie Animated, good to see you. Richard!
Oh, my God.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm too
It's
close.
good to see you. You know what?
It's good to,
it's
what?
Yeah, it does that. It kind of like gives you like, 1 minute you're out here, and then it's like you're really
Am I too close? I don't want to scare anyone.
You look perfect right now. It's good to see your
All right.
face.
Well, you always look perfect, so there.
Aw. That's funny. It's the ring light. Remember? It's the ring light.
No, it's not. I've seen you in person. It's not the ring light.
You're so sweet. Where are you, in your home studio or your home office?
I'm in my home office right now. Yeah, this is where the magic happens right here.
Do you feel like you want to show us around, or are you more stationary right now?
Well, it's kind of a mess right now, honestly, but I do, well, I guess I could, well, I'm kind of hooked into this thing here, but
Yeah.
I have a booth in my office. I have, this is my command center here where I do a lot of writing and stuff like that, and all that sort of thing. And I do have, well, let me take it off. It's kind of fun. We do have some characters that I've
Awesome.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you can see some of these guys here. You can see some of the characters. Here's Jigen from Lupon the Series. Here's Gladiator. There's Batman. A bunch of James Bond guys. But the only thing I did with James Bond was I cast Ellen and I cast the motion capture for one of the games that they did. Here's some more Joker stuff. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but and then here's Ansem from Kingdom Hearts, another one of my characters. But it's always fun to me. This was the first one back here. You see this guy here? Can you see that?
Troopers?
Yeah.
VR Troopers, yes.
He was Darkheart was the first time that I had gone in a store and seen a character that I voiced as a toy. So that was kind of exciting. That was a long time ago, but that was the first one. And then after that, I just kind of started collecting some of these characters here's a good one. I didn't even show this one. This is one of my favorites. Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
So he's fun. And they got him dressed as Dark Raiden, which is kind of nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, a lot of you guys, big Mortal Kombat fans on the stream. Give a thumbs up if you are.
Yay,
Um,
Mortal Kombat. We love Mortal Kombat.
Richard, I'm so curious. I don't know much about how you got your start in voice acting and acting. Do you care to take us back to the early days and how that all came about?
Back before the trilobites. Yes. Well, you know, I'm an on-camera actor. I'm an actor. I'm actually stage trained actor. I was trained on the stage and did a lot of theater.
Mhm.
I came out here to be a film actor, and I did a bunch of television and soaps and some films and stuff like that. I was in Memoirs of an Invisible Man, and I did a bunch of TV shows like Columbo and Cheers, and did a bunch of soaps, Santa Barbara, One Life to Live, you know, all that stuff.
Did
So
Days of Our Lives, yeah.
Days of Our Lives, I was on that for a while. That was fun.
Who were you
Uh,
on? What was your character on Days of Our Lives?
I think I was Rick. They
Uh-huh.
always had me. I always had like a one name character, and I was usually the bad guy. I was either a bad guy
Rick
or a
and
cop.
Bear. Oh,
Yeah.
so
So
yeah. Yeah.
in Santa Barbara, I kidnapped Robin Wright, which was kind of fun. And I got to tie her up and inject her with blue fluids, and I don't know what the hell else I did to her, but it was that was very
Podcast
strange.
again.
Yes. So yeah, that was fun. You know, that was a long time ago, but that was really a lot of fun. I came at her like I did a lot of soaps and stuff like that. And then my wife, Ellen Stern, was in a movie, and she wasn't my wife at the time. She was my girlfriend. This is a million years ago. And the people who did the movie, they had another movie, and they didn't like the actors in it. They wanted to replace their voices, so they had auditions. And she said, "Can I bring my boyfriend?" Who was me. And I went in there, and the guy said, "Have you ever done this before?" I said, "Yeah, I've done it a million times. I never did it before in my life." And I went in, I got the lead character, and they really liked me after that, and they started hiring me for other movies. And this was live action stuff. And then from that, I got hired into a place called Intersound, and they did a show called Robotech. And Robotech was like the first big anime show that I did. It was on network television. We didn't think anything was going to really happen with it. It was kind of a little tiny show. We didn't think much of it, but it blew up. And to this day, I have people coming up to me and asking me about Robotech, which is kind of fun. But that started the whole thing. And then I have literally not stopped working since then. I've been, you know, voicing and directing and doing a lot of that stuff. So,
Wow, that's amazing. So it
yeah,
was just the one chance encounter. And as
yeah.
Tamer, I'll have to get the correct pronunciation of your name, Tamer, and make sure that, but like he said, fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I was really faking it, honestly, but I mean, I did. You know, the thing that really helped me particularly was, as you know, when you do dubbing,
Yeah,
your dubbing is a little different than just doing regular voice work. You know, the regular voice work, you go in and you're doing a character, and they take your tracks and they animate to those tracks.
yeah,
But when you're dubbing, the show's already in the can, and you're replacing the dialogue, and so you have to hit those mouth flaps and do the lines in sync. Well, the fact that I'm also a drummer helped me tremendously because there's a real rhythm to this stuff.
yeah.
And are you musical?
Yeah, I play guitar and ukulele and sing.
And you sing, right? So you know, I find that the people that are musical really take to dubbing a lot easier than people that are not musical. People that are not musical, it's very tough for them to figure that out, this whole thing out, you know.
That's so
But
interesting. Never heard that.
yeah, yeah. So I think that helped me tremendously. The fact that I was a drummer and an actor, and I just saw the rhythm in it, and I just kind of got into the rhythm, and it just for me it was really kind of an easy transition. And then when I started doing a lot of voice work, I had some of the studios ask me, "Hey, can you direct this stuff?" And I had directed theater, so I said, "Sure, I can direct this stuff." And then they said, "Can you write this stuff?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, I can write this stuff." So I just started doing so much of it. And one of the things that I wrote, one of the first things I wrote was Cinema Paradiso, which was won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film. So I adapted and directed that into English. So that was one of the first things, and I've done a bazillion you know titles since then.
That's so fun. It's amazing how you segued. into
Yeah,
that. And
it is.
so when you started booking more and more voiceover, were you still continuing on your drumming path as well?
Well, my drumming was more of for my own joy. Honestly, I was never
Yeah,
trying to. I never wanted to be a professional drummer. Now my son is a professional drummer, and he plays on Broadway. He's been a first call drummer on Broadway for 10 years, and you know he did Spider Man, and he did Hamilton, he did Waitress, he was just doing Mean Girls when they shut it down for the pandemic, and you know he's been, you know, they shut down Broadway for a year and 3 months, and it's been really tough on him. But he's
yeah.
finally they've asked him to come back and work on another show, so he's going to get up and going again. So that was good. I mean, he's played on Seth Meyers and The Tonight Show and all kinds of stuff, and he's doing really well.
I remember hearing about him back in the day, back when we were
Yeah,
working on the Mr. Men show over 10 years
yeah.
ago. Can you believe that?
No, no, I can't. That was a lot of fun. I was hoping they'd have more seasons of that. That was really a
Me
lot of fun.
too. You know, we have a lot of, I'm sure you probably do on Instagram as well, but there's a lot of diehard Mr. Men show fans out there.
Yes.
And a few have been just begging me to get somebody from Mr. Men onto the show. So I'm so
Here
glad
I
that
am.
you're here
It's
today.
Mr. Noisy.
Yeah.
And actually, Mr. Noisy played the drums, which was kind of a good fit for me. I thought, oh, wow, that's how did they know that? So,
How did they, well, you know, they say sometimes that actors each have an essence and there's just something in your DNA which makes you a very good fit for certain roles. I wonder if you just somehow have drummer in your DNA.
I smell like a cymbal. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
Smell like a cymbal and sound like a kick.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, but you know, I've been playing once in a while. I get together, and actually, I was, you know, you mentioned Days of Our Lives. I
Yeah.
was on that show for quite a while, and one of the cameramen, I was talking to him, and he said, you know, we got a band, but we don't have a drummer. And I said, well, I'm a drummer, and I don't have a band. So we got together and we made this band, and then I got a friend of mine who's another voice actor and actor, and he came in and he started singing and playing keyboards for us. And we started playing at some of the clubs. We played at the Viper Room. We played at the Hard Rock. We played at a bunch of places around town. It was really fun. And we had a lot of our, you know, our voiceover fans come and show up and watch us play. So it was really a lot of fun.
That's so great.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many voice actors are musicians, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I'm always
And
surprised.
all of the recordists they're either musicians or they record music, or, you know, I mean, they've all had something to do with music at some point. So it's kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah. For everybody that's just tuning in, this is Alicyn's Wonderland. We're a weekly show where we interview people that work in animation and video games. And today's guest is Richard Epcar, voice
Ah,
director and voice actor of multiple projects. I see some questions coming in through the timeline. If you guys just don't mind dropping them in the question and answer box at the very bottom with the question mark, we'll try and save some time at the end for questions from you guys.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so Richard, I was curious. We talked a little bit about how you got into it and your first few roles doing ADR and looping. What were some of your first roles in animation or video games?
Well, you know, I was Bato in Ghost in the Shell, and that was a big deal. You know, I did that one movie, and I thought, well, and actually, that movie that we did
Yeah.
was the number one selling video of the year it came out. It beat out
Wow.
everything, which is really weird when you think about it. And it was a great movie. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if they, you know, did more of these? And then I got a call like 2 years after that, and they called me up and they said, hey, remember that character Bateau you played in Ghost in the Shell? I said, yeah. And they said, well, we're doing a series now. And I'm thinking, oh, this is great. I'll get a series. They go, we'd like you to audition. So, you know, I'm going, audition? They go, yeah, we want you to come in and audition. I said, oh, okay. And they had like 200 people there auditioning for this thing. And I think I got it because I sounded like the guy in the movie. So, you know, but you know, thankfully I got it, and it was only two of us that made the cut from the movie to the series. So I
That's
was really
amazing.
really grateful that they kept me on that. I did that. I did Digimon. I did. God, there's so many. I don't even remember them all. They just kind of blend together after a while. But there was
Yeah.
literally, I've done over 600 characters in games and animation, and I started, slowly getting into the gaming world, which I really wanted to do more and more of that actually,
Yeah.
because just because you're not doing dubbing, you're creating a character,
Yeah.
and you're not confined by doing the dubbing. You're just doing it, and it just and then I got into Mortal Kombat, which is about, I've been doing that about 12, 13 years now. Mortal Kombat, where I play Raiden and the Joker. And that was an amazing audition. They called me in from, Warner Brothers and NetherRealm Studios and DC Comics. They were all on the line when I was doing it. And they wanted me to audition for every single character in DC world and every single character in Mortal Kombat. And it
And were you
was,
coming in to audition in person and they were
yeah,
on the line?
yeah, yeah.
That's always fun.
In the old days, we used
In
to
the
do
old
that.
days. I miss
In the
this.
olden days, yes, I would take my carriage and my horses, and I would come up to the. No, but it was really a fun audition because it was like being a kid in a candy shop for me, because I loved all these characters and I read their comics when I was a kid and all that
Ah,
stuff. So they had me go in the booth and I read all these different all these different characters, and then at the end of it, Bridget Berdine, who was the casting director at the time, said to me, they like you for everything. What would you like to do? I said, well, if I could shoot, there was something about the Joker. I never tried to do the Joker, but this crazy voice came out of me and the laugh and everything. It was just nuts. So I said, I love the Joker and I love Raiden. They were both really fun characters. And they never ask the actor who they want to play. They don't care who you want to play. It's, up to them. But literally a couple of days later, they called me and said, you booked Raiden and the Joker. So, and I've been playing them ever since. So that's been really wonderful. That was a really fun experience.
would you like to sample the voices for us?
Well, the Joker sounds like this. You're so lovely, my dear. That's the
Oh,
Joker.
Joker.
Yeah, see, you could be Harley. You'd be a great Harley. And then Raiden is more serious. Thunder, take you. So he's more of a. I love Raiden because he's kind of like everyone's dad. He's always admonishing everyone, which is kind of fun. But and then when he turns into Dark Raiden, he becomes a real badass and just goes crazy. But it's just been. I've really been so fortunate. I've had such a spectrum of characters that I've been able to play, which has really, really been wonderful. I played this character in Monster. I don't know if you're familiar with that show, but I played this crazy Inspector Lunge who is so obsessed with finding the villains that he becomes almost a villain himself in the process. He just pushes his family away, pushes everyone away, and becomes so obsessed with finding this guy. And it was a really fun character. There's been a lot of great ones. Yeah, go ahead.
There's something also, I think, like a thread that you and I both resonate with that's like a little bit twisted. I think we both can really sink our teeth into a character that's a little bit.
Wait, are you talking about you or me on this? I'm just
both of us.
Okay, all right,
Like,
I'll go with that.
we're like a little twisted. Yeah. Well, I mean, it truly is such your career has been, you've had such a significant body of work. I mean, most people cannot speak to something like that. So you've been doing, just to take it back, you were doing a lot of voice acting, and then how did you segue then to just getting so many directing gigs? Was that an intentional career path, or was that something?
I honestly kind of fell into that too, in a way. I mean, as I said, they offered me this. The first thing I think I directed was there was this animated feature from Hungary called Captain Schnauzer. It was beautifully animated, really beautiful. Looked like something from Disney. You keep going dark on me here. I keep having to lighten you up. And they asked me if I would do it. And the reason they asked me, because they asked every director in town, and everyone turned him down because it was a very talky movie. It was really long and very talky, and it was about the economic situation in Hungary, which, as you know, American kids would just love that, right? That would be hilarious. So
Right.
I
My
said to the
nanny's
guy,
Hungarian, so yeah.
I said, yeah, no, I said to the guy, I said, would you, they wanted me to write and direct it. I said, will you let me change it? And they said yes. So there was a company called Quintex back in the day. I don't think they're around anymore, but it was on the Family Channel, and I took this show and I threw all that stuff about the economy and all that stuff out, and I made it in. I put in jokes. I put in all these jokes, and it was a big hit. They loved it, and they came back to me with a series. They said, we have this series, Swiss Family Robinson, that we'd like to do for the Family Channel. Will you write and direct that? I said, sure. So I wrote and directed that. And honestly, after that, I just, I think the third project
animated?
Huh?
That was animated?
Yeah, it was an animated series, cartoon series.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. I wonder if you could still see that or not. I don't know where that is, but it was really a sweet series. And we had a great cast. And, you know, we just, after that, I started getting live action movies. I got a lot of stuff from Miramax to write and direct into English. And I got a lot of Academy nominated, Academy Award winning films that they asked me to write and direct. And I did a bunch of those. And then I just went on and did that. And I started directing games. I directed a huge game for oh my God, I'm trying to remember who it is. Over at Technicolor, we did it for Microsoft called Blue Dragon.
Blue Dragon.
Yeah.
And we worked on was it XCOM that you cast me in many years ago?
XCOM. Yeah, you should bug me more because I should cast you more, actually.
I was Perichi. Do you remember that little cat?
I don't.
I little white cat.
Don't feel bad. I don't even remember my characters, so don't feel bad.
I've played so many cats, and I don't think I've ever played a dog.
Well, it's like that energy you give off. You're talking about that. We both have this energy. Well,
very feline. I'm a twisted feline.
You have a feline energy about you. You do.
That's so funny.
Especially, I've seen you do all your twists and turns and stuff, so that you're like a cat, right?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So then, I mean, with all these with all this depth of work, what is next for Richard Epcar? Is there a particular avenue you're looking to explore more of?
I just picked up another series, an animated series. I can't really talk about it yet, but I just finished a feature, a Lupon the Third feature. Also, there's another Lupon the Third feature, which I wrote and I played Jigen in, called Lupon the Third the First, which is going to be out in theaters in August. So go see that if you get a chance. It's all CGI and it looks amazing. It looks like incredible. I mean, it really is beautiful. It's a beautiful movie, and it's a lot of fun. And even if you don't have any prior knowledge or background with Lupon, it's a great film to go see. It's a lot of fun.
Can you tell us a little bit about Lupon, the series?
Lupon is really an incredible show. I started doing directing the Red Jacket series about 15 or so years ago. And when we did it, I said, this is such a great series. I hope I get to do more. Well, be careful what you wish for, because now I've got Lupon coming out of my ears. It's unbelievable. But what happened was I cast this show. I brought in the actors for the characters. And then several years later, like I said, about 15 years later, there was this other Blue Jacket series of Lupon. And they asked me to direct that, and I cast it, and Ellen and I co-directed it because they needed it really quick. We had to do a really fast job on it, and that did really well. Then they brought us another Lupon series, which we did. And in between all this, we were doing a bunch of Lupon movies, which you can find from Discotech. If you go on their website, you can rent all those. But Lupon, to answer your question, I know I really didn't answer your question, but Lupon is a gang of thieves. Lupon is a master thief. His grandfather, Arsène Lupin, was a legend. Apparently, he really exists. And there's a French live-action series right now called Lupin, which is loosely based on Arsène Lupin.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, the guy, Monkey Punch, is the guy who created Lupin. And he and I share an affinity for James Bond. You can see by my posters in my office that we both love James Bond. So he put a lot of James Bond elements into the series. There's a lot of fast cars, car chases, beautiful girls, exotic locations all over the world, and they're all about this team of crooks trying to do this Mission Impossible jobs to steal, the jewels or whatever they're stealing that week, but they usually wind up. They're kind of like Robin Hood in a way. They wind up helping people generally more than they do stealing. So they actually have good hearts. They're criminals, but they're good-hearted criminals. So, and I play this guy Jigen, who's a very tough, no-nonsense guy with a very dry sense of humor, and he's a crack shot. So he's a lot of fun to play.
Awesome. Now, you've led several voice actor workshops as well. Do you have anything like that coming up?
I did my well, they want me to do another one. I told them, I said I can't do any more until after October because that's the deadline for this new series. And honestly, it just you know what it's like. It takes a lot of effort and time, and so I may be doing more. The only reason I've been doing these workshops is because so many people have asked me, to help them and that sort of thing. So I had this company, Strawberry Hill Music, approach me and say, "Can you, teach these classes?" And I said, "Okay." So I've been doing that for a while, and the classes have been really going well, and the people seem to really enjoy them a lot. And it's really fun to help people. And in our business, there's not a lot of great information sometimes on how you can start doing this and what you can do to help yourself. So it's kind of nice to have that that platform to help people. So that's what I've been doing. But I'm not, honestly, don't know if I'm going to be doing any more of those or not, because they're very time consuming and they're a lot of work, honestly. So
what do you hope that people that take your voiceover workshops take away from that?
Well, hopefully they'll take away, they'll be better voice actors. They'll be more professional, hopefully. They'll understand what it is that's asked of them, and that really what we're hired to do when we go into a studio or a booth, what we're hired to do is to take that written word off the page and bring it to life. And many times you have to do that in a cold reading because we don't get to see the scripts until we're in the booth. So that is a real skill that even a lot of film and movie actors and TV actors that don't have that skill. So it's something that you really need to work on. If this is the kind of work that you want to do, then you really have to be proficient at that and be good at cold reading and be able to read without stumbling and give a good performance right off the bat.
But the good news is you don't have to learn to memorize.
Well, that's true too. I mean, in many ways, I prefer that. That's kind of nice. You can run the gamut of emotion and all. You chew the scenery and do all that stuff, and you don't have to memorize it, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, there's something.
That's why they say it's easy, though, but it's not easy. That's why everybody says it's easy, because you have the script in front of you. But it's really not easy to make it come alive and sound like you're saying this for the first time and not reading something. That's the trick, isn't it?
Yes. And I feel like it's the type of thing that takes 20 years to develop, but then you're working off your instincts a lot of times.
Yeah.
You're working off the character that you've created and just living and existing as them. So there's almost like an improv-y kind of cold ready / improv-y quality to it sometimes that, is not necessarily, it's a part of one's acting toolbox, but not necessarily an on-camera actor's forte. So, it really runs the gamut on how people transition and vice versa on camera.
I kind of liken it to, acting in general. I kind of liken it to, how when you first start playing piano, for example, when you're looking at the notes and you're thinking about hitting each note on the keyboard and you're being very
precise,
conscious of that, aware of that, and then you get to the point where you don't think about it, and you can just sail through it, and you're just playing it, and that's to me really that's what great acting is, when you've done the work and you've assimilated all those qualities, and then you can just fly with it and not even think about it, and forget all the stuff that you learned. Really, you kind of forget everything and you just jump in and do it. And that's what I'm trying to teach them when they take my classes, that sort of thing. So
very much your voice very much is an instrument.
yeah,
And,
it
you know,
is.
even if you're not singing, you're using different resonance canals. You're bringing it up in your throat or pitching it, bringing it down or making it more, you know, I'm reminded
Yeah.
of that really. So it's like,
Yeah, we talk about that. We talk about the head voice, the chest voice, talk about saving your throat when you're screaming and that sort of thing, and how to scream without hurting your instrument. And those things are really important, particularly when you're doing these game jobs, because there's a lot of screaming in some of the stuff, you know,
yeah,
and you got to
yeah.
protect that instrument.
Keep it protected, guys. Um, so I'm curious if there's any upcoming projects that you can talk about or tell us about.
um, God, what can I talk? There's, you know, my mind is like mush. It's just been so much stuff that's been thrust at me the last few days.
When it
Um,
rains, it pours.
It really does. I've just completed this really wonderful show called Danny Who that's going to be on the Paramount platform, I believe. It's a very cool show. I believe it's from Mexico, and I was the ADR director on that, and it's a really interesting show. So that's going to be coming out soon.
Is it a live
Um,
action or animated?
it's a live action, and
Oh,
it's
cool.
very cool. And I believe we did a really great job on it, and it looks great. Um, and then, you know, just a lot of other stuff. I mentioned the Lupon the Third stuff that's coming out. There's a few games that I've worked on recently, but I can't talk about those yet, sadly. But it's those are a lot of fun, and I get to play a lot of cool characters. I was just in this Grand Blue something Grand Blue. I don't know. I just did that, which is a continuing character that I've been in a bunch of those, and Monster Hunter. I'm in that. I play the Admiral in that, and those are coming out. So
An anime?
in a way,
Is that
no,
an anime?
that's a game. That's
A
actually a
game.
game. Yeah,
Awesome.
and I play this crazy Admiral who actually Ron Perlman is playing him in the movie. They're doing a movie of this thing. So he's playing my character, that rat. I should be playing it, but
Wow, he's probably doing a bunch of research on you right now.
well, you know, it's fun. When they did the Ghost in the Shell movie, Lemley called me in and said, "Hey, would you come in and introduce Ghost in the Shell?" Because they were going to do a screening of the original Ghost in the Shell movie with our cast, and I said, "Yeah, that would be awesome." So I introduced the show and I talked about how it was the #1 selling video and all that, and the year it came out, and then after the show, I get up to leave, and this man comes up to me and he says, "Can I meet you?" I said, "Of course." And he said, I'm forgetting his name, but anyway, he played Togasa in the movie. He played, you know, with Scarlett Johansson. So he said to me, that they would watch our shows. That's how they would get their characters. They would watch our shows. So I thought that was really cool. I said, "Well, tell your director I'm mad at him." He goes, "Why are you mad?" I said, "Because he didn't bring me in for an audition." So,
Yeah, right.
but you know, that was really cool to meet him and talk about that they really got their inspiration from watching our shows. So I wonder if that the same will be true for Ron Perlman. I wonder if in his you know, when he does his research, if he's going to look at any of the stuff that we did.
I'm sure he will. Like, who's that handsome man? Woo!
Yeah.
You know, I was going to ask, since you voiced, you know, 600 different characters, if it's a challenge keeping up with all of
To
them.
name
And
each and
as
every
we
one of them.
discovered, the answer is yes, it is. But how do you, when you attend conventions and different events and fans come to you because they're fans of X, Y, or Z, do you ever struggle to remember?
I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So, you know, yeah, it's tough sometimes. You know, when I first started doing the conventions, I, you know, it wasn't that I didn't take it seriously, but you know, just there was so much stuff that we did back then. You know, when we first started doing this work, we didn't realize there would be conventions. and that
Yeah.
people would quiz you on your shows. Now we're a little more savvy, and when I do another show, I'll write it down or make a note of it, or try to update my resume a little bit to kind of keep it up to snuff. It's still not easy to do, but
Yeah.
now I know a little bit more about some of these characters that I played, and I try to stay on top of a little bit more. Obviously, I can't remember all of the characters, and there's always one or two guys in the audience that know some show that I did back in a million years ago and ask me stuff about it, and I honestly don't remember some of those shows, but the main ones, the ones that really move me, I remember there was one great series of games that I did called Xenosaga, and I played Ziggurat 8. Ziggy was his nickname, and that was a really interesting game because this was a character. He was kind of like RoboCop. His family was killed, and he killed himself, and then they came and they reanimated him and made them do his bidding, and he had this really sense of pathos and sadness about him that made him really interesting to play as an actor. And that's one of the things I love about the games is the writing is on a lot of these games is so good. They've got screenwriters for movies writing these games now.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful as an actor to play these characters.
And just, I mean, it seems like there's just been more and more of an uptick in conventions over the years.
Yeah.
Are you experiencing that as well? Is it tough to juggle all that you have going on with attending conventions?
Yes, it is sometimes. There's not been that many. I've got a couple coming up. I actually have one in August, towards the end of August in I believe Oregon, and then I have one coming up in New Mexico sometime. I don't remember. It's the New Mexico Comic Con.
October, I think it's in October.
Is it October? Are you going to be there?
Haven't been
You don't
invited
know?
yet.
Maybe. Well, we should see if we can correct
Hey,
that.
New Mexico.
But anyway, it's I love the conventions because we're in these dark booths all day and we don't get to talk to people, and it's not like when you do a show on a stage, you have the immediate reaction of the audience and you get that thing. But when you're doing these characters, you don't really know. So when you meet these fans that are really excited about what it is you're a part of or what it is you're doing, it's really nice. I really enjoy it. And I love meeting with them and talking to them. They usually know more about the show than I do, to tell you the truth. But it's great, and I enjoy it a lot. And I hope that this COVID thing gets under control so we can all go back to the conventions and meet everybody and have fun. And they're a lot of fun. You get to fly around and see places of either the country or the world that you haven't been to before. So that's always fun.
Yeah. And have you noticed over the years doing more and more every year and being invited to more and more and more and more popping up?
Yeah, I mean, there was a period I was doing about 14 of them a year, which I guess adds up. But after a while, that does get to be a little rough too. I know there's people that do a lot more than that, and they're like almost every weekend they're somewhere, and God bless them. That's great. I don't know that I could do that. I think I would jump off a cliff if I had to do that all the time. But it's nice. It's really fun. There's a lot of fun, and like I say, I love meeting with the people and hearing how they enjoy we don't realize that when we do these shows sometimes that they really impact other people's lives, in many ways, and so when you hear that, it's like, wow, it's nice you feel like, wow, I'm working on something worthwhile, that's really helped somebody or impacted somebody.
Completely. Yeah, that was, I did Northeast Comic Con a couple weeks ago, and usually I just go and do panels, and then I don't stay for the signings, but they invited me this time.
Why don't you stay for the
Because I didn't know that was the thing. I mean, I didn't know it was the thing. I didn't think, a lot of my shows have been preschool and stuff too, so I think it's starting to shift. I absolutely loved it. Getting to meet people one-on-one and be that light for somebody is just the best feeling in the world,
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It is.
Yeah.
It's important.
So, what's it like? Because I know your wife is also does a lot of similar things that you do, voice acting and directing as well.
She does.
What is it like being married to somebody in the same career as you?
Terrible. You know, it's okay. We help each other, and you know, she's we, like I said, we've partnered up on a few projects where we've co-directed stuff, and she helped me cast this last thing that I did, that I just finished with, and you know, she's been really great, and we travel together. We do a lot of the conventions together, which is really nice. We get to go together to some of these conventions, so that's fun. But yeah, she's been very busy. She just finished a thing for Netflix called School Nurse Files, which is kind of a cool show, and it was a Korean. It was kind of like Stranger Things, you know, really bizarre kind of weird stuff. It didn't have the upside down, but it had all this weird stuff happening, and she cast the entire thing with an all Asian cast, which I think was great, and it sounds amazing, and she did an incredible job on it. So, you know, she does a lot of this stuff too, and she voices for me a lot on stuff, and you know.
Are there any challenges with you guys both being in the same industry?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we get each other, and we help each other. She does drive me crazy sometimes because she does a lot of on-camera auditions, and she's always asking me to help her set up her lights and be her reader and all that stuff. And you know, I just want to relax after you know a full day of voicing or directing. I just want to come home and crash or do something. You know? And she's always got me running and doing so. But
help me set up my backdrop.
Exactly. So.
Good actors say, totally.
It's always something. Is your husband in the business?
No, he's not.
No.
Yeah.
And?
So he thinks what we do is cool, which is amazing, and he's super supportive. The downside is he doesn't know anything about self-taping. He can't help me with the light. He'll have me like physically set up things, but he's not going to read sides with me. But that's okay. I always, I wonder.
What do you do when you have to have somebody read sides with you?
Usually a coach. Usually I work with a coach or something.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah, good. Or if I can get a friend to work with me. But I mean, that happens less for me because most of what I do is voiceover. So if there's like a PCAP or a mocap thing, I'll have to do that. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's so cool. You have just one son, right?
I have one son and one daughter. Our daughter is
that's right.
She is an amazing singer-songwriter. And actually, Ellen and I are working. We're trying to get this series produced that she created called Life's a Bitch. And you can see it. It's with Ellen Stern, me, and Stephen Tobolowsky. And we're all in this show together. And you can see we've done 2 teasers already. So if you go on YouTube and you put in Life's a Bitch with my name or Ellen's name, and you can see the teasers, and they're really, really wonderful. And the reason I bring this up is because our daughter does the music for them and sings the song, and she also directed the second teaser. So
great. Well, yeah, I mean, let us know. Do you have a link in your bio or anything, or where we can see that?
I absolutely should.
Yeah.
But I don't. But you can, like I say, you can go onto YouTube and put in Life's a Bitch and put in Richard Epcar or Ellen Stern, and it'll come up, and you can see the 2 different teasers, and they're really funny. I think you'll enjoy them. And so we're trying to get a series deal for us so that we can do our own series.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
so that would be fun.
So I'm just wondering, throughout your career, you have voiced a handful of iconic characters. Specifically, I'm thinking of the Joker. What was it like having to approach a character that people before you have played and played well?
Well, a lot of people ask me that, and they go, "Were you intimidated?" And Mark Hamill's done it for so long, and he's so great, and everyone loves him. And honestly, to this day, I've not heard Mark's Joker. And this is kind of a funny story too. Some guy kind of accused me of trying to sound like Mark Hamill on my Joker, And I said, well, thank you for the compliment. I said, but honestly, to this day, I've never heard Mark's. And Mark Hamill came on and said, well, I've heard yours and it's wonderful. So I thought that was really nice of him to do that. He's really a nice man to do that. He made my day, I'll tell you.
Aw.
But, there's a, I like I say, I was trained in the theater. So there's been a million people who have played Hamlet, and everyone's going to play Hamlet differently, and everyone's going to put their own spin on it. I'm a James Bond fan. There's been 6 James Bonds, and they all add a little something different to the character. And, everybody's going to bring something of themselves to the character. And, I honestly, I'm not, I would never try to play an actor playing a character.
Yeah.
I'm playing a character. So I don't really think about that stuff, to tell you the truth. And it doesn't really, that doesn't worry me or intimidate me, or I don't really have a worry about that. I just jump in and do the best I can and hope for the best and hope that it turns out well and it's well received. When I took over Ansem from Billy Zane, he was in the first one, and then I did the rest of the series. He did one, I did like 8 of them. So I got a lot of flack for that in the beginning. And then as I went on, I think the fans kind of came around, and same with the Joker. When I first started doing the Joker, everyone kind of went bazibas, but now I have a lot of fans, and a lot of people, really like my Joker a lot. And I really appreciate that. So, you just, you do what you do, and you try your best, and that's all you can do, really. You can't worry about, if Laurence Olivier played the character before you did, you can't worry about that. It doesn't matter. I'm saying this, and I'm thinking the people out there going, who's Laurence Olivier?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that may be true, but I feel like our audience is not as young as, TikTokers.
As I would think. Although, the other day I said something about George C. Scott, and the engineer turned to me and said, who's George C. Scott? So then I thought, oh boy, here we go.
Well, I want to give the audience time to ask some questions. I see we already have 25 questions in the question box.
Oh, good. Well, let's answer their questions.
Guys, go ahead and put some questions in. I might not be able to get to all of them, but I will do what I can.
Well, should we do it quickly so we can answer everybody's question?
Well, not all the questions will be good.
What kind of questions do your people ask, for God's sakes?
Some of them would be repeats, I mean. Okay, so Looney Tunage is asking, seeing as how you're a big Bond fan, who's your favorite Bond and villain?
Well, it's Sean Connery, of course. Is it Sean? Yeah, Sean, right here. Sean Connery. I love Sean Connery, but I also love, like I say, I love the other guys, and I love what they brought to the character. I think they're all fun to watch. They all do a nice job.
And who's your favorite villain?
My favorite villain? Well, I mean, God, there's so many good villains. I mean, Goldfinger was great. I loved Red Grant in From Russia with Love. Was a great villain. There's so many of them. There's just so many good ones. There really are.
They all made Bond their own, they say.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Joseph in
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. How can I forget that? A million fans. What was it like voicing Joseph, especially the scene where Avdol and Joseph get stuck together?
Oh my God, was that the funny? Did you see that scene?
I haven't. No, tell me all about it.
Oh my God, this was, well, first of all, I do a lot of these shows, and I honestly, well, you know what it's like. You go in sometimes it's a job. You just go in and do the job and you forget about it. This show really was intriguing to me. I would go in and I'm going, oh my God, because every episode they would paint these characters into a corner, and you're going, how are they going to get out of this?
Yeah.
I mean, it was really kind of brilliant. And I had to watch it. So it was one of the few shows I actually sat down and watched the show. Usually I don't have time to do that, but I just said, I've got to see the show. It's just so crazy. He was so much fun to play. And now originally they had us do a like a test of the series, and they had everybody do English accents, and I'm not really sure why they had us do it that way. Maybe that it's
British
that way.
English?
British English, yeah. And so I'm glad they kind of dropped that after they did that for a couple episodes, and then they went back and redid it all with, you know, regular American. But he's a really fun character to play. He's super strong and super smart, but he's kind of a bumbling fool sometimes, and he kind of screws up a lot sometimes, you know, which makes him very human, you know. He had an affair on his wife, and whenever he always wants to pilot the plane, but whenever he does, they crash, you know. So I mean, he's kind of a nut, but he's really a fun character to play, and I absolutely loved playing him. He's one of the most fun characters I ever played. But his voice is, oh my God, you know. He's always screaming, and he's always big and blustery, and so, you know, that was hard to do that for hours and hours at a time. But he was really a fun character to play. Really loved playing him.
Yeah, a lot of fans from JoJo's
Yeah,
Bizarre Adventure, huh?
people love JoJo's. They really do.
It's so cool to see. Um, okay, this is a bit of a general question, but we can go there and maybe you can
Okay.
elaborate a little more. But how do you feel about Lord Raiden in Mortal Kombat 11?
I love him. I love Lord Raiden. He's one of my favorite characters. He's like I say, he's a very noble, honorable character, and I love that about him. And I think we need more characters like that. Quite honestly, I think so many of these characters now, they're so ambiguous. There's, you know, not to sound like old man McGee, but you know, it's like when, you know, growing up, you know, the shows, there was good and evil, and good and evil would struggle, and good would always triumph at the end. Well, we don't have that anymore. They kind of threw that out, and I just feel like some of the stuff is really ambiguous, and I hate to say it, but I think it kind of reflects in our society right now. I think it, you know, I think it's affecting people because, you know, there's not that sense of right and wrong anymore. I don't know. I mean, I could be, you know, talking out my butt at this point, but
So you think that because we're not seeing truly moral characters represented in TV and film, that our moral compass has sort of gone astray?
I think there's a lot of that. This thing keeps going dark on me. I think there is some of that.
Is it the dark side?
Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to sound like, you know, the church lady or anything like
No.
that. But you know, I think it's important sometimes in some of these epic dramas to have good people. But you know, obviously, you know, if a character like Joseph Joestar, for example, who's a hero, but he's a very flawed hero, and I think that makes him more human, and I understand that. But what I'm talking about is that, you know, there's a sense of do whatever you have to get to where you need to go or whatever. And I think people don't care about what's right or wrong anymore. You know, I think they just think about, let's just get to where we need to go and screw everybody else, basically. And I think that's
thing.
You know, yeah, I exactly do the right thing. And I think there's not as much of that. And I think that there could be more in the entertainment world. I don't know. I'm going off on a weird tangent, and I don't want to sound like I'm, you know, proselytizing or anything like that. But I think it.
Preach, Richard, preach.
Yeah, hallelujah. But anyway, you know, I think it helps when you do have a little more defined characters. And Raiden is one of those characters. He's a very noble, honorable character who is a man of his word. If he tells you he's going to do something, he does it. You know, he's got a really good heart. He wants to help people. He's the protector of Earthrealm. He protects the entire planet, you know, and he's like I say, he comes from a good place. And then I have the Joker in there also, it's like yin and yang, you know, who's the most despicable character. And this is what's kind of interesting to me is people love the Joker, but when you think about it, he's really a despicable, horrible character. You know, he's awful. And
bad guys.
Huh?
We do need bad guys, right?
We do need bad guys, and he is definitely one of the worst. And I think the reason people like him so much is because he has a sense of humor. I think they let him get away with a lot of the stuff he gets away with because he's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an interesting idea. But I just think it's really interesting that, and for me as an actor, it's really fun to play both of those characters, obviously.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. And there's scenes in Mortal Kombat 11 where Raiden and the Joker are talking to each other, and that's really kind of a fun thing to see, and to do.
That's amazing. Let's see what other questions we have.
Ask me one of the bad ones.
This is a good question. All the good ones are just popping to the top. Although this is my second question from Looney Tunes, I believe. What were your thoughts on the new Mortal Kombat live action film? Did you see it?
I have not seen it yet. I have not seen it yet. I have
Moving
no idea.
on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you like to be cast by Jean Vassalleros for DC Superhero Girls?
Absolutely. Of course I
Who
would.
wouldn't?
Yeah, who wouldn't?
Wouldn't. This is a really tough question that I'm going to ask from Stephen Epcar. Who is your favorite brother?
Let me think about this for a while. Who's my favorite brother?
Do you have more than one? Let's start there.
No, I don't.
Okay.
So let me think about this. Who is my favorite brother?
Sorry, folks, we're out of time.
I don't know. Probably the guy I'm going to Vegas with in August.
Hey,
my favorite brother.
That'll be fun.
We're going to tear up the town, my brother.
Oh, I love it. Mr. Richard, when you started out, did your agent ask you to do any Disney or Warner Brothers cartoons when they're holding auditions?
No, he didn't, that rat. I should fire him, right?
Definitely. Okay, this is a question we've been asking a lot of people that have come on the show since we launched in September. So Jeff, thanks for asking this. What's it been like adapting to working from home during COVID?
That's a great question. In many ways, it's kind of nice. I keep poking you because the phone keeps going dark.
That's the settings on your phone. It's like going to sleep, but
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at this stuff.
It doesn't make us go dark. It's just
no, I know. It makes the thing go dark. What was the question?
COVID. How has it?
COVID. Yes. Well, it's kind of nice because you can roll out of bed in your jammies and just kind of come into the booth and do your stuff, or I can come in and just write my stuff. And I directed an entire show here in my office, which was in a way it was kind of nice, but honestly I really miss the camaraderie of going in a studio and hanging out with the people and seeing all of our friends and all that. It's just so much more fun to do that. I know a lot of people really like this at home stuff, and it's going to be continuing on for a while now. As a director, it was tough because there's a delay, no matter how good your setup is, and even if you use Source Connect and all that stuff, there's a delay. So I ultimately at the end of it, I had to go into the studio and adjust all the sync on everything and I had to take the engineer's word that everything was going to work. A couple of times, it was touch and go, quite frankly, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, there are certainly, there's plus sides to it. Like I say, you can just roll out of bed and do your work. You don't have to drive anywhere, which is nice because, I don't know about you, but those drives to Venice and Santa Monica at 9 o'clock in the morning those are pretty rough. Rough.
I think you're in the valley too, though, right?
Yeah.
So we're lucky most of the things are on our side of the hill.
Yes, on our side. But there are a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff on the other side too, in Culver City and Santa Monica and Venice.
Yeah.
I remember I was directing a game in Venice, and it took me 2 hours to get there in the morning and 2 hours to come home at night. So it's 4 hours every day you're driving. That's ridiculous. Crazy. It's ridiculous. I know it is. But thankfully, they moved that game to Warner Brothers, which is about 10, 15 minutes from my house. So that was great. I loved that. Plus, I was working on the Warner Brothers lot.
Yeah.
That's got to be the coolest thing of doing the Joker, though, is when we record at Warner Brothers. I'm doing
Mhm.
the Joker on the Warner Brothers lot. I mean, that is like, I'm going, wow, this is really something. So those days are really fun.
John Bailey says, I can't wait for Richard to direct me.
I know. I can't wait either,
We
John.
love your
We'll
new
do it.
commercial, by the way, John.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah,
So talented.
super talented.
Yeah.
Um, Another question from the audience, from M. Hernandez 006. I wonder if there's a connection there. Do you have any advice for anybody in here who'd like to become a voice actor? Also, I hope your day is going awesome. I had to consult with the elder gods to send this. Ha ha
Yeah, Raiden says that a lot. I must consult with the elder gods.
ha.
It sounds like he never makes up his own decision, but he's just trying to check stuff out. That's all. Um, you know, it's a tough business, and I think that if it's really something you want, you can certainly go for it. And why not? A lot of people have just come here from all over the world and have had careers and done pretty well. But it's not easy, and getting going is probably the hardest part. And my advice would be to study and take some classes and really hone your craft. And when you are competitive, then I would make some demo tapes, not tapes, but demos, and I would send them out to some of the agents out there and try to get an agent to represent you, because the agents are going to be the ones will be sending you the auditions. So if you can get somebody to represent you and send you auditions, and you start doing that, and then hopefully you just keep doing that until you book, and then the more you book, the more confident you'll get, and you'll book more and more, and then that's how it works. But I'm putting it in very simplistic terms, as Alicyn knows, but it's not easy. It's a tough thing, but if it's something that you really have to do and want to do, I say go for it. Why not? Years ago, people used to say to people, go do something that you're going to make money at, and don't follow your dream and all that. And the reality is, I had a bunch of friends who became engineers and they got laid off, and then they had no job. So my advice to everyone is to follow your dream, because we're here for a short time, and you might as well do something that you enjoy and that you love, and that makes you feel good, and do that, because there's no guarantees in life. Even if you have a degree or you study something or whatever it is, there's no guarantee. So you might as well do something that you love and that you want to pursue. That's my advice.
I 100% agree with that, and would just add to that make sure that you're taking care of yourself, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever that means to you. Make sure that you're taking care of your body and your mind and your spirit, because there will be days when this career is hard, or any career path, even the safe one, is going to be hard, that hopefully you can fall back on a good community of friends and family. You can fall back on the healthy well-being and self-care habits that you've developed, so that when things get tough, you can take care of yourself. And it's an ongoing, lifelong process, but don't sacrifice your health and well-being and mental health for this someday dream. Start taking care of yourself now.
I think that's excellent advice.
Jeff Burns had said, one more question. What's a tape, Richard?
Well, that was back in the olden days, Jeff, when we used to ride our horse and buggies to go to
What a tape
auditions.
is. My old demo was on a cassette tape.
Say,
How long I've been doing this.
oh my
You know what?
God. Well,
I want to be very conscious of your time, Richard, because I said we were going to go an hour, and we're actually 4 minutes over.
uh-oh.
So do you have time for one or two more questions, or do you need to...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll do one or two more questions, guys. And just so you know, next week we have Chip Beeman is going to be our guest. He's from the Help Network. They do a ton of workshops, as well as casting and producing for video games. And they're on fire right now. So please join us for Chip Beeman. And the following week, I am going to be off on vacation. And then the week after that, we have Yeah, you know what?
What will we do? Who will we watch?
Maybe I'll pop in one of the old ones actually.
Hmm.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
that's what you
find
should do. They do reruns like they
do
do on the,
reruns.
you know,
Yeah,
like they do on the late, you know, the talk shows. Just do
I
it as a
could do
rerun.
my very first interview with Earl Kress. It was like 5 minutes long. Rest in peace. But that was my from 2009 when this was originally a web series on YouTube. My very first interview was Earl Kress. So,
Wow.
and then we have Christina V from Miraculous Ladybug and Genshin
She's
Impact,
a
who's going to be our guest
sweetie.
in
She's a
3
sweetheart.
weeks.
Well, tell her, give her a big hug from me and tell Chip I said hi, please. I
I
know. Both those
will.
guys
I
very well.
will. So, you guys, if you have any last minute questions, go ahead and put them in the box and we'll try and get a couple more. Duelist of the Fates. Thank you so much. We're so grateful to everybody that's tuning in live. You don't know how happy it makes us that you're here with us.
Well,
So,
it's my pleasure, and
yeah,
thank you for asking me and having me on. I appreciate it. I was going, when is
yeah.
she going to ask me on? For God's sake! No,
I've been wanting to ask you out for so long.
but I appreciate it. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah. Lennoxo, is asking, who's your favorite JoJo character? Is it yourself?
Yes,
Of course.
yes. I always choose my character as the favorite because you know he's the one I know the most about and I'm most invested in. You know,
Um,
but I do love him. He's great.
yeah. A lot of questions about, do you know who's going to voice Raiden in the next incarnation of Mortal Kombat?
Who's going to voice Raiden? Well, hopefully it'll be me.
That's right, baby. Let's keep this party train going.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can find it. Will you? Yeah, more questions about if you're voicing Raiden. We covered that. We covered that. We did not cover this one though.
Okay, good.
What was it like voicing Armorhide?
Armorhide in Transformers. You know, that was kind of interesting because my father was in the military parts business, and he had a bunch of tanks in his yard, where his business is or was. And I used to, as a kid, I used to play in the tanks. I used to crawl in them and play, and it was a lot of fun.
No way.
So Armorhide is a tank. He's a transformer that's a tank. So that was kind of weird, you know. But actually, that particular series, he's talking about Transformers: Robots in Disguise. I wrote about a third or a half of that series for Hasbro.
I did
So
not.
that was a long time ago. But yeah, I wrote a lot of those shows, and I was Armorhide, and then I got to be Skywarp in War for Cybertron, which was a Transformer game. And anytime I get to be part of the Transformer universe, I love it. You know, it's a great franchise.
My son just got his first, well, actually his second Transformer. He got an Optimus Prime at a flea market once, a vintage one, and then he just got a new Transformer. He's very excited.
Nice.
Wow, that's amazing. Back again, kind of circling back to the whole recurring theme of this, that tanks apparently are in your DNA.
Yeah, yeah, you said
You
that.
need
That's
a
true.
tank, cast
It
Richard. If you need a
it's you need a cat cast you,
if
but
you
you
need
know
some
it's
twisted.
interesting. There are I guess you do give off vibes. You know, I mean I play a lot of military guys. I play a
Yep.
lot of authoritarian characters. I play. You know, it's just kind of interesting how you give off a certain essence or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and because I am a tall guy, you can't really tell from this picture, but I'm
You are very
6'6".
tall.
I am very tall, and because of that, I think that they cast me as big, large characters a lot of times. So it's kind of worked in my favor. Whereas, on camera, you are more relegated to the way you appear, and sometimes, I'll tell you another funny story real quick. When I first came out here to be an on-camera actor, they said to me, "You'll never work. You're too tall." And then I started working all the time. They said, "Oh, you're working all the time because you're tall." So let that be a lesson to everybody in this business. Don't listen to these idiots, and just if it's something you want to do, pursue it and go for it, because there's no reason why you can't do it. If it's something you really want to do and you want to put your mind to it and put in the time and the effort and the work and become competitive, there's no reason why you can't succeed and have a career in this.
That's right.
Right? Right, Alicyn?
Yep. Richard, before we go, do you mind saying you're listening to Allison's? My name is Richard Epcar, and you're listening to Allison's Wonderland. One day, I hope to edit all these little clips together into a little promo. Kenny,
My name is Richard Epcar, and you're listening to Allison's Wonderland.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure. Really appreciate you.
Boy, that hour flew by, didn't it?
Hope we get to cross paths in real life again. The last time I saw you was at the Gary Marshall Theater.
Yeah, it was at a show. I saw you at the show.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to do with the show, or were you just in the audience?
No, I was just Googling Joey McIntyre. First crush ever.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I didn't even know he was in the play until I got there, and then it was like, oh my God, shut up, really.
You know, your husband watches these shows.
I know. He's the one that gives all the hearts. That's probably why there's a bunch of hearts going on. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Tune in next week for Chip Beeman, then we're off, and then Christina V, and oh my gosh, I have Ellen Sue. The artistic recruiter for Titmouse is coming up the week after that. So we have a whole bunch of awesome guests coming up. And if there's someone specific you want to see on the show, DM me, and I will do my best to get them booked. And so, guys, also, if someone knows Nancy Cartwright in person, you know, I'm going to get a lot of requests for her, so you got to hook me up. Okay, guys, we'll see you next week on Allison's Wonderland. Thank you, Richard.
Bye, Allison. Thank you for having me. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.